May 14, 1944, North Atlantic, 400 miles west of Ireland. The ocean is a bruised gray, heaving in long, rolling swells. A biting wind lashes salt across the deck of U-546, a Type IXC German U-boat running slow and blind beneath a low ceiling of fog. Inside the control room, the air is thick diesel fumes, stale sweat, and damp wool uniforms. Every surface sweats condensation. Red emergency lighting paints the steel walls like the inside of a sinking cathedral. Oberleutnant Sewer, say Ernst Tainrich, 26, wipes grime from the periscope and peers through. Nothing but waves. They haven't had fresh food in 9 days. Bread is mottled with white mold. The crew carve off rotten parts and eat what remains. Behind Heinrich, the boat's engines rumble unevenly. Chief Engineer Kurt Voss murmurs, "We cannot stay down forever." Batteries are low. Heinrich orders, "Low main ballast tanks. Prepare to surface." The submarine reaches. Meanwhile, aboard USCGC Campbell, radar sweeps the ocean. Sonar identifies a Type 9. U-boat surfacing. Commander James Hirschfield orders, "Ready the guns? Do not fire unless she resists." On U-546, Heinrich climbs into freezing air. Through fog, a silhouette. A cutter. American. Fully armed and positioned perfectly. Heinrich whispers, "We are out of time." He raises both hands and shouts, "Nicht, she." And we surrender. Instead of gunfire, a signal flashes. Hold position. Prepare to be taken aboard. Boarding teams move with precision, not anger. They search the Germans professionally, with no beatings or insults. Hands visible. No sudden moves, an American says calmly. The Germans are stunned. They expected violence. Instead, there is procedure. Waves crash violently as the crews transfer from U-boat to cutter. Americans catch unsteady prisoners, steadying them by their jackets. Inside the cutter, warmth envelops them. The smell of coffee, fresh bread, bacon. Walls are clean and painted white. There are framed photographs, wives, children, dogs. A Coast Guardsman gestures to a shower. Hot water's limited, but better than nothing. Voss stares. "For us." "For you," the man replies. The Germans shower the first hot water in weeks. In the mess hall, plates of steak, mashed potatoes, buttered carrots. One sailor begins to cry silently. A cook sets down pie and says, "Eat. You're safe now." Heinrich looks around the bright room and whispers to Voss, stunned, "We were never meant to win this war." That night, he writes in his diary, "The Americans live better in war than we do in peace. The men fall asleep on real mattresses without moisture dripping on their faces, without mold, without fear. For the first time in months, just warmth and silence." Morning aboard USCGC Campbell arrives with the hum of engines and the smell of coffee. The German prisoners file into the mess hall, their uniforms scrubbed clean after their first hot shower in weeks. Heinrich stops at the doorway, stunned by what he sees. Bright lights, stainless steel counters. Sailors laughing easily while washing dishes. Jackets crisp and spotless. A young Coast Guardsman raises his mug and says, "Morning." Heinrich nods back, still unsure how to act in a world where the enemy smiles at him. After breakfast, they are guided to a recreation room. Shelves of books, checkerboards, a radio playing Bing Crosby. Petty Officer Jack Turner sits across from Heinrich, shuffling playing cards. "Scat?" he asks casually. The Germans hesitate. Turner deals anyway, better than staring at the wall. Heinrich studies him. "You treat us as guests." Turner doesn't look up. "You're prisoners, not animals." Heinrich presses further. "You do not hate us." Turner finally meets his eyes. "Why would I hate a man I never met until yesterday?" "You fight for your country." "I fight for mine." The simplicity of the answer feels like a blow. Later, their seized notebooks are returned. A junior officer hands Heinrich his diary. "Private writings stay private." The Germans stare in disbelief in Germany. Diaries are censored. Here, They're handed back with respect. Heinrich writes, "They handle our papers as though our lives matter." In the medical bay, Corpsman William Hayes examines Heinrich's ribs. "You've lost weight." "You've lost weight? How long since you had real protein?" Heinrich answers, "We rationed meat. Mostly bread." Hayes freezes. "Fresh bread. Fresh when we left port. Then mold." Hayes fetches eggs and milk, real milk, cold and white. Heinrich whispers, "Because we do not." The truth strikes him. Germany cannot even feed its navy. On deck that evening, the cutter weathers heavy seas. Heinrich grips the rail. Turner steadies him. "You're fine. Storm will pass." Heinrich asks the question burning inside him. "Why treat us so well? We hunted your ships. We killed your men." Turner answers quietly, without pride, "We win by being better than the people who started this war." Days later, a radio mensaje arribas the prisoners will be sent to an inland US POW camp. They imagine cages, watchtowers, punishment. Turner overhears and smirks. "You'll be fed, housed, given medical care. Some camps have orchestras, baseball fields." The Germans stare, unable to process the idea of baseball in wartime. In Germany, bombs fall every night. Here, they play sports. As America's coastline appears on the horizon, Heinrich watches bustling docks, endless trucks, cranes unloading cargo. He whispers, "They live as though war is an inconvenience." That night, before disembarking, he writes one last entry aboard Campbell. "We have seen the true power of America, not in weapons, in abundance." Then he closes the diary and sleeps, knowing the world he believed in is gone. The Campbell eases into Boston Harbor at sunrise. Foghorns echoing his gulls wheel overhead. The Germans stare at the skyline, cranes swinging, trucks moving in coordinated streams, warehouses bursting with supplies. Nothing is in ruins. No bomb craters. No ration lines. A petty officer hands out canvas duffels. "For your belongings." Enrich blinks. "We keep them." Of course, the American answers, confused by the question. In the terminal, Red Cross volunteers greet them with smiles, pastries, and coffee. A young woman gestures toward a basket of foil-wrapped chocolates. "Please, take one." The Germans don't move. They expect interrogation, not hospitality. Matthias whispers this must be a trick. No one laughs at him because secretly, every man thinks the same. When the military police call names, they're guided to a gleaming Pullman troop train. Soft seats, ceiling fans, windows that reveal a postcard world outside farms, diners, movie theaters, families strolling sidewalks without fear of bombs. Voss watches cows grazing in lush fields. "Look how fat they are," he mutters. Heinrich quietly replies, "They have more food in war than we had in peace." In the dining car, the prisoners sit before tablecloths and steaming bowls of stew. "Eat all you want," de Kook sighs. Otto takes one bite and stops, tears filling his eyes. "It tastes like my wife's." No one speaks. The war collapses for a moment. After lunch, the prisoners are handed American newspapers. Headlines boast aircraft carriers, tanks, bombers, all being built faster than Germany can replace a single U-boat. A photograph shows a smiling family in front of a brand new house. Heinrich feels a sharp ache behind his ribs. Germany asked its people to suffer. America asks its people to live. At a small town station, children wave flags at the train. One girl presses flowers to her chest and calls out, "Welcome to America." Otto chokes on the words, "We tried to starve them at sea, and they welcome us." Turner, escorting them, murmurs, "Kid thinks every train brings soldiers home." Heinrich looks out at the girl on the platform and realizes, Americans don't live with war. They pause their lives for it, then resume. At the POW camp, there are no cages, no barbed wire mazes. Instead, wooden barracks, clean bunks with mattresses, writing paper and stamps on a table. Out beyond the barracks, unbelievably, a baseball field. Matthias stares, speechless. They let us play. Turner shrugs, beats digging holes. Heinrich settles onto a mattress, softer than any bunk he had aboard U-546. He runs his hand over the clean sheets. He has no words. That night he writes a letter home. I am safe. I sleep well. The Americans treat us as men, not monsters. America is not what we were told. He sets down the pencil, extinguishes the lamp, and lies back. For the first time since the war began, he sleeps without fear, only the distant sound of a baseball hitting a glove somewhere in the dark. He wakes to birdsong instead of klaxons, to the smell of fresh bread instead of diesel and mold. June 1944. The POW camp is alive with morning routines, guards sipping coffee, prisoners sweeping walkways, the crack of a baseball bat echoing across the yard. Heinrich dresses, in clean denim, work clothes, and steps outside. No shouting guards, no snarling dogs, just sunlight and the rustle of pine trees. Work assignments are voluntary. Prisoners build furniture, harvest crops, repair machinery paid for the hours they choose to work. Ice-cold Coca-Cola appears on break. Otto holds the bottle like it's made of gold. We are prisoners. With soda, he mutters, stunned. In the library, Matthias reads American newspapers, trying to understand a nation that seems impossible. Photos show assembly lines turning out tanks, carriers, jeeps, all at speeds Germany couldn't imagine. We were told democracies are weak, he says. Heinrich replies, weak nations do not drown enemies in steel. One afternoon, Turner visits and joins Heinrich on a bench near the baseball field. They watch prisoners learn the game, laughing as a ball rolls past them. Heinrich asks the question that has haunted him since capture. How can you treat your enemies better than we treat our own soldiers? Turner tosses a baseball and answers. Freedom makes people want to win. Heinrich murmurs fear makes people obey. Turner nods once. Which one builds more ships? Letters? Arriba. Heinrich's mother writes from bombed Hamburg bread lines, air raids, sirens every night. She asks if he is alive. Heinrich's reply is simple. I sleep on a mattress. We have a food. Do not fear for me. America is not what we were told. He stops himself from writing the rest. That the enemy treats him with more dignity than his own navy ever did. One humid evening, under floodlights near the baseball field, an American officer plays Sentimental Journey on a trumpet. A German prisoner joins with a harmonica. Voices hum along in German and English, blending together. Turner leans against the fence, watching, expression soft. Matthias whispers, if the Führer saw this, he would go mad. Heinrich shakes his head. If every German soldier saw this, the war would end tomorrow. Weeks pass. Then one morning, word spreads like lightning. Germany has surrendered. Some prisoners cheer, some weep, some stare at the ground crushed. Heinrich walks to the fence, resting his hands on the rail as a warm breeze moves the grass. For the first time, he understands the true defeat. Not military, not political, moral, human, fundamental. The war wasn't lost underwater in the North Atlantic. It was lost the moment U-boat sailors stepped aboard a cutter that fed them steak and gave them hot showers. Years later, back in Germany, Heinrich writes, in the United States, we saw something stronger than weapons. We saw dignity. We hunted their ships, but in captivity we learned why they won. Their strength was not in the gun, but in the life they built around it. And in another diary, found decades later, on our submarine we lived to kill. In captivity, we learned how to live. The war ends, the camp's empty, but for those who lived it, one truth never fades. The greatest shock of the war was not American firepower, it was American abundance.